The crazy part about this video and this title and this thumbnail is that Charleston White was saying this so many years ago and everybody called him so crazy, gang. I ain't gonna lie to you. Damn. I ain't gonna lie to you. They called that man crazy for a long time, and it seemed like what he was saying back then and what everybody been saying in LA seemed like it might be true, man. It seemed like Big U had something to do with Nipsey Hussle getting killed, cool? I'm just letting y'all know what, you know what I'm saying?
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
I'm just letting you know what the word on the street is.
Damning things that we have seen so far was this video where Big U seemed to laugh about Nipsey Hussle's death when people said justice for Nipsey in Alive. Now, for a while...
Oh, you never seen that?
Justice for Nip.
He laughed.
So you might not have heard it, but he said justice for Nip. He's reading the comments that's saying justice for Nipsey, and they're laughing.
Justice for Nip.
They start cracking up. These supposed to be his homies. They start cracking up laughing.
Your boy would have been there like, yeah,
You did. You did.
Justice for Nip, you dig? All right. So look, now there has been an update in the case. Okay. A recently filed superseding indictment has the authorities actually basically targeting Big U and saying that he had threatened to kill Nipsey Hussle, and there were other overt acts that they're now adding to the indictment. This is crazy, okay? It says federal prosecutors have now sharpened their case against Eugene Big U Henley with a new slate of overt acts that depict him as a violent shot caller who boasted about disciplining Nipsey Hussle and others, and even as he publicly branded himself community mentor. In the new superseding indictment, the government does not accuse Big U of playing any role in Hussle's 2019 killing outside the Marathon clothing store in Los Angeles. That murder was prosecuted in state court where Eric Ronald Holder Jr. was convicted of first-degree murder and later sentenced to 60 years to life in prison. But says instead federal prosecutors say intercepted calls would capture Big U years later threatening to kill Nipsey Hussle and others, describing himself as the hunter of the Rolling 60s, rhetoric that they're framing as part of a racketeering pattern of intimidation and control.
Shit. They had wiretaps since 2022 where he threatened to kill Nipsey Hussle.
That they're framing as part of a racketeering pattern of intimidation and control.
Before 22, right?
On December 31st, 2022, Big U said that he was bigger than the deceased rapper Nipsey Hussle, that he disciplined Nipsey Hussle, and that the defendant, he was bigger than any other Rolling 60, according to Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. On January the 1st, 2023, on an intercepted call, Big U said that he was not beefing with Nipsey Hussle because if anyone beefs with him, I'm going to kill him, period. I'm going to murder him. The superseding indictment's new overt acts expand far beyond the already detailed allegations about a Las Vegas studio artist murder, dispensary robberies, and extortion payments. It adds to a series of fresh overt acts that aim to show Big U and his associates using fear to tighten their grip on the LA streets and on wealthy clients. In one added episode, Big U discusses disciplining a fellow Rolling 60s member identified as OG Crip Cuz, claiming that he had him beaten for perceived disrespect and warning that he could have had him killed instead.
Oh, he's cooked, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. FBI, open up! If they got all these wiretaps of him talking about this and saying that on wiretap, he's fucking out of there,
he allegedly recounts a dispute involving Nipsey Hussle and other neighborhood figures, boasting that if things had gone differently, he would have had a problem with any man and that the issue would have been resolved and he wouldn't be here or I wouldn't be here, a line prosecutors cite to show Big U linked his status to life or death decisions. So basically, they're now calling out, and some of these things have been mentioned before, but they're now being laid out as overt acts, and it's being made very clear. He said he was bigger than Nipsey, he disciplined Nipsey, and that he was bigger than any other Rolling 60. Now, look, that on December the 31st, 2022, after Nipsey Hussle had been killed by a Rolling 60,
right?
It does hit different, unfortunately. So, you know, he said he was not beef. And bear in mind, he's saying this after Nipsey's been killed.
Right.
Right? On an intercepted call, he said, I'm not beefing with Nipsey Hussle because if anyone beefs with me, I'm going to kill him, period. I'm going to murder him. Like...
Why are you saying this on the phone?
I can see what you're saying. It says additional new overt acts describe Big U threatening to mess up a South LA business after employees refused him a discount and talking about hanging out in the rival Grape Street territory where he could kill MFs every day. Prosecutors said he bragged about having 2 blowers and guns, aka guns, and being able to pay others to carry out assaults. The Feds say this illustrates how he allegedly blended direct violence with outsourced muscle. And the superseding indictment also adds detail about contraband smuggling, accusing Big U of arranging to get a cell phone into state prison, and then selling miniature phones for $1,000 each and treating incarcerated people as another revenue source. Together, the new acts are designed to deepen the narrative that he leveraged his Rolling 60s pedigree, podcasts, and documentary appearances to project an image of reform. And the Feds say that privately he was invoking executions, beating, and armed enforcement to maintain what prosecutors call the Big U Enterprises grip on Los Angeles. For now, Nipsey's death remains solely a state case. In federal court, Big U faces no homicide charges tied to the rapper. Yet. That's a big yet. That is actually very scary. So there's been some kind of booming.
Big U, Bear Claw, Imani Vey, Tiffy Hines, they all got superseding indictments yesterday.
Right.
On the RICO. And when I tell you this, when I got through reading that, it not only blew me away, I just sit there and ponder about for like an hour and just shook my head because I never, ever in my life seen the stupidest shit that transpired in the transcripts in my life. Never, ever seen that. I never seen nobody talking so much reckless stuff up in there. It's just unbelievable. And then they give, and they lay it out. They lay it all out. They give it all the breakdowns. And one thing I can say about him, whoever he was pressuring out there and getting them wires, the wires to his account, he was getting some serious bread. All right, I can give him that. He was on a bumper. He was getting some serious bread. If this is true,
some extorting shit.
So he's saying this extortion enterprise, it was very, very profitable. He was getting some serious bread. He was squeezing a lot of money out of people.
Yeah, I heard him getting like $40,000 a month.
People were so scared of the violence and the consequences of not dealing with Big U. He was racking up a lot of money. Now, Aziz would also break down how reckless Big U was talking on these wiretaps.
Man, these people is so crazy to me. I would have got that nigga ass locked up so quick, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Oh, you gonna extort me? Okay, I'm so scared. I would have paid you one time, called the feds, been like, listen, he's extorting me. Like, go arrest his ass. I'll snitch, get on the stand, all that.
His own Rolling 60 members and the people closest to him.
And then move my business to another state. See you later, buddy.
Things unfortunately went.
I ain't never seen nobody talk like this on the phone, bro.
He was talking crazy on the phone. Not only was he kind of showing a certain degree of kind of treachery, but also he was very brazen in the way that he was having these conversations. For somebody that's the head of an alleged criminal enterprise that's so...
That's so many moving parts, so organized, so put together. You ain't got no walkie-talkie, man. What the fuck is you
trenched like this? It is actually baffling to think why he would have been so reckless on the phones. He surely would have had an inkling people were tapping his phones.
Come on, bro.
I'm not going to lie. I've met people that are not really serious level criminals that they don't want to talk about nothing on the phone. They want to talk about legal stuff on the phone. They're so paranoid about stuff being on their phone. So the idea that Big U was leading the Rolling 60s like this and he was just talking openly on the phone about these things that were happening is insane. Okay, now let's say about this.
He didn't start that way. I mean, Big U played a part in them getting started, and he would talk of big draws. He would
Big U set Nipsey Hussle up for 300 kilo cartel ripoff.
Constantly referencing at big draws.
What the hell?
Looked up that, and they went out to New York, and so they were rocking. And Big U definitely had a value for the early stages of his career. So they were out on a tour bus doing a promotional tour for Nipsey in the mixtape days. This is right before they broke up. The bus kept getting pulled over.
He sick the police on Nipsey.
I just hit it home. They had 21 people. They think they got him. Anyway, make a long story. He ended up turning himself in, take the case off all of us. He get life, right, for the drugs. When that happened, my team is acting weird. So I'm looking at Steve. I'm looking at Nip. Man, get a paperwork from Sony so they can see that we releasing all this. They acting weird. So me, I'm still kind of like, hey, I'm hot, hot and heavy, but
Loose Cannon claims Big U was given the information to get the bus pulled over, trying to get Nipsey caught with a gun. Maybe not. I don't know what the strategy of that would be.
See, I ain't gonna lie, Big U, I think he used to run with Suge Knight, and a lot of the shit that they saying he did, when I hear it, it sound like some crazy Suge Knight shit. It sound like some crazy Suge Knight shit to me, folks.
But what's interesting, you see how excited Big U is talking about it. And if you listen to what he said, it's that a guy he knew had a travel agency and they were sending people on bus tours to drop off the work, to sell work, and they were getting a big bag.
Right.
So that's why, and you was tied to this guy, so that's why they kept getting on the bus. They were looking for D-Rugs, and the guy, and they did, and Big U got picked up, a bunch of people got picked up. Big U was not charged, his buddy took the whole case. Now, for the record, for those of us that have had our fate be under a prosecutor's decision, you can't take someone's case. Like, the prosecutor decides who gets charged. Now, a person can say they're the one who did it or whatever, but so I don't know what he means by the guy took everything and got life.
Only one person can get charged with shit, right?
He might have been the only one who ended up with life. I don't know what the logistics of that were. Now, so Big U was tied in with a guy who was sending tour buses out under the guise of his travel agency that really had to work on them. Nipsey was doing a tour, a promo tour. Now, an interesting, I cannot remember who the hell was talking about this.
Is it muted?
Chicago tried to kill Nipsey. At the concert, Sean, it was fucking 100 Mexicans with colorful Crenshaw shirts on the south side of Chicago. We were backstage, Nip like, man, hey, keep y'all head up, because, you know, some shit went on back home. He did, and that's how I can say it. It's the 60s or whatever, they had robbed motherfucking cartel for like 300 keys of heroin.
All wearing the same...
Whoa, what is that?
Some shit went on back home. He did, and that's how I can say it. It's the 60s or whatever, they had robbed
the 60s.
Cartel for like,
the 60s robbed the cartel.
300 keys of heroin.
For like 300 keys of heroin.
All wearing the same...
And they know he's traveling and this and that, so he was an easy target. They was gonna kill.
So they was coming to kill Nipsey in Chicago. So maybe they pressed Big U and was like, hey, you finna give us Nipsey, we finna whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, put this murder together like that.
Kill him to hurt the 60s type shit.
You kind of rushed the stage, and then after the thing, they had to run to the tour bus, and there was going to be some gunplay, or somebody did have to let off some shots. Now, that could kind of sound like, remember, this was during the time, well, still, Chicago's, I mean, LA's a hub for work, so Chicago.
Hell yeah.
Doing a little cartoon. Could that have been, and then Big U, we know, likes to rob plugs. That's what he went to prison for back in 91.
Right.
Extortion charges now. He likes to get stuff and not pay.
Right.
Could some Mexicans somewhere have been owed some money by Big U and them? Or that guy that was sending the workout on the tour buses? So imagine you got a black guy in LA, you know that he's getting work, and he's sending around the country on tour buses.
Right.
He doesn't pay for a load. He owes.
Right.
Of course, it's hard, you know, easy to not be found, right? But now they know, oh shit, this rapper that we know this guy is somehow affiliated with or is in the same circuit of people, Nipsey. He's on the road in a tour bus, and we know this guy sends work out on the tour buses. Let's run up on them.
So, Big U's operation was causing a lot of problems for other people. It's very, very unfortunate that things worked out the way that they did for Nipsey, and I do think that there are